Goodness knows you've been looking long enough. With the Volvo XC90, you've finally found what you've been looking for. A luxury SUV with seating for up to 7 people and loads of cargo space. Not to mention premium technology, including Google Maps, Google Assistant and Google Play. The Volvo XC90 is what you're looking for. Now at special run-out pricing from $99,990 plus on-roads. Visit Volvo Cars and discover why the XC90 is the vehicle for right now.
You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
News Talk ZB and Weekend Sport, 17 away from 2. When I wrote down at the start of the week the list of media who I thought would be in Vegas, James McOnie was at the top of the list. This is catastrophic. How have you not been sent to Vegas?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Maybe they think of me as a flight risk. You know, it's like McOnie, Vegas. Is it worth it? Is it worth the headlines? Will he ever come back? Will it be like The Hangover? Will he suddenly end up with a baby on a front pack and a tiger in his room? Chances are yes.
Well, I had a chat to Mike Lane an hour or so ago, and he's got me to call his wife to let her know that he may not be coming back.
That's no surprise. I mean, Mike Lane, I would have been part of that Mike Lane ACC Alternative Commentary collective party. I would have been part of that, and that's just dangerous for starters. So, yeah, it's better to steer clear. I've got major FOMO, but at the moment I'm just watching, and the Warriors have let in 3 soft tries. One was a length of the field intercept as well, which would just, rip your undies right there. But, hey, when you're in Vegas, there's still good times even if they lose, right?
Well, that's right. And I know you've probably turned away from the television to give full focus to your radio slot, which I greatly appreciate. But the Warriors have just scored a try in the corner. So 16-4, kick to come. They're on their way back, James.
Why is I went back, I think, to look at... Oh, no, it says it's live. How come you're ahead of me, Piney? You're so advanced. Great to hear. But, yeah, I'm watching on Sky Sport now, and I just see that we're on the attack. There's been some good possession. I actually like Leka Halasima, who's on the bench, and as we just see the try now, yes, nice try there, scored by...
Kurt Capewell. Kurt Capewell's gone over, yes.
Kurt Capewell. Yeah, good stuff. Hey, look, the way I feel about the Wars is that they've become such a big ticket item. Everyone supports them. They've come out of the woodwork. It's all been since COVID, really. And I know rugby is panicking because the Warriors are so popular. The NRL is growing, but I think it's actually quite good for rugby. If people like contact sport, that's a good thing. And all rugby needs to do is make sure that their product is great, and that has been so far this year. There's just been a couple of glitches, and one of them happened last night at the end of the Blues Hurricanes game. Have you talked about that on your show, Piney?
We actually had Paul Tito on the radio about half an hour ago. What did you make of it all?
Very confusing having a doctor pretty much decide who gets to put the ball into the scrum. In the end, Sam Knock looked in a bad way. So if he didn't have an HIA, did you see his face?
Yeah.
There was something seriously wrong.
Yep.
So if he didn't have an HIA, they were trying to find footage of where he got hit, where he got knocked. And I just think, wow, that's quite a big call to make on the day, and forcing Beauden Barrett to put the ball into the scrum. Look, I know you're a Hurricanes fan, but I think it's probably helps just to see the Blues get across the line at least once, and I think we'll be hearing more about the influence of doctors on games now.
Indeed. Well, because I thought I can't remember, I thought it was the mouth guard that gave you the indication that somebody had been hit hard enough, or their head had moved enough that it reached an HIA threshold. But you're right, I think they were on Sky Go, rewinding back to try and find what happened.
Well, you can still get hit in the back of the head, can't you? And with your mouth open sometimes, you know what I mean? Like the furthest part away from the mouth guard. I just looked at Sam Knock's face and I think, well, whatever he's got, he's not faking. He's not going back out there either. So, it's an interesting rule. But look, to be honest, both those teams are spluttering along. The Hurricanes definitely aren't the same threat they were last year. I'm trying to work out who they miss more. is it Geordie Barrett or is it Ruben Love? But there's pretty much both, really.
Yeah, it's like there, and a couple of other positions as well. I think Harry Godfrey's a very promising player. It's got a lot of points last night, including a nice try. But yeah, it's he's still early in his tenure there. Hey, can we talk about your Chiefs? They beat the Blues. They beat the Crusaders. Yesterday afternoon, they almost raised their bat again, beating the Brumbies 49-34. Should we just give you guys the trophy now?
Oh, I'd love that to happen, Piney. I would actually prefer to have won it a couple of years ago when Razor breakdanced on Waikato Stadium there. That was the one that we really needed. 2 years on, yeah, that's great. I think we're looking in good shape. But now Damien McKenzie's injury. Have you had a doctor on the show yet today, Piney? Because he's been really the standout player in Super Rugby so far this season. Him and Timothy Tavatava-Nawai have been two unbelievable standouts, and McKenzie getting that knee injury is pretty bad, but at least Josh Jacob in there at 10 looks the goods, and there's a little bit of depth, and thank goodness for Manasa Mataele. He's been around forever, and but he's only 28, and he slotted in on the wing there, so yeah, we wait and see about DMAC, but I think things are looking great, and speaking of missing Geordie, well, Quintu Paia at 12 looks like he could slot in to the All Blacks right now. He's looking in such good form.
Yeah, he was a standout, wasn't he, Quintu Paia? He looked awesome. I think I saw DMAC signing autographs afterwards. I know that's not an indication of whether your knee's okay or not, but I get the feeling if it was serious, he might have gone in and under and gone to hospital or whatever it was or got treatment. So that could be a good sign that it might not be quite as bad as first feared.
Yes, exactly. That is a good sign. And look, I think it sounds like they're not worried about McKenzie. So that's the latest. It just came through on the email. I don't know if you heard that little ding, but yeah. So that's a good sign. Look, the other thing with Super Rugby really is Moana Pacifica looking so good. I think against the Highlanders, and Artie just lifting his game. That battle with Tavatava-Nawai was so intriguing, and it's almost like he took it personal, like Michael Jordan from that documentary, the Last Dance.
Yes,
and he was. But I thought there was one thing there one thing I must note about Super Rugby is the high tackle rulings are an absolute shambles at the moment. So Cam Miller went high in a head clash. I know it was his first interaction of the game when he came on. Now that would normally be a card, but because he got so badly hurt, it's almost they gave him a pass. We've seen Angus Tarvell red carded for that against Ireland when he had a accidental head clash with Gary Ringrose. He sort of came to and was shown a red card, but no card for Miller on Friday night. I think that really does impact the game a lot. So if they're serious about these head clashes, the same thing happened in week 2 with Hunter Paisami for the Reds on Moana again. So they're on the rough end of the stick right now. They've got to get that right. I think it's pretty simple, but they're failing.
Hey, just before you go, I know you wouldn't have had the chance to watch it, probably watching the Chiefs around about the same time, but we had a 4-4 draw in the A-League yesterday. Incredible day at Go Media.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you're living in the wrong city now, Piney. I know that you're looking at property in Auckland. That's what people are saying, and I feel it's really knee-jerk reaction from yourself to be starting to scout around One Tree Hill for some couple of a nice little bed sit, or even could you push out to a townhouse there? I mean, the thing is that game, that rivalry is really important. I know it, like you said in your commentary, it sucked the energy out of the stadium, but it might be necessary. You don't want your fairy tale ending mid-season. You want your fairy tale ending to be lifting the toilet seat, which is the trophy for the A-League, right? The big silver toilet seat.
Yep.
So winning that game, yes, it would have been a wonderful moment for the fans, but having them sort of give them that wake-up call, it will change everything about the way they analyse that game. 2 penalties conceded, that soft goal at the end. I think Piney tried to volley it away when he could have just got a hit on it, right? And so now they'll look at that review and be tougher on themselves. I think it's for the best, Piney.
I agree. I was hoping I could just sort of doss down at your place, but if I have to buy property, then, I have to buy property.
You're always welcome, mate. Come out west.
I love
Have
it.
a good time.
Good boy. Thank you, James. James McOnie, massive part of our Sundays. Always love our chats. Thanks, mate. We'll do it again next Sunday.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.
For a few years in the 1970s, the Mr. Asia Syndicate made millions.
Heroin creates its own market. It acts like a form of plague.
Until jealousy, betrayal, and murder brought it all crashing down.
Clark would have threatened him. Go and kill him. If you don't, I'm going to kill you and your wife and your son.
This is Mr. Asia, a forgotten history. Listen to episode 4 now on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.